Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. In this video, we're going to be planting more fruit trees in our fruit orchard. If you're new to me, my name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B. And behind me is our fruit orchard that we literally just started less than a year ago back in September. And so today we're going to be adding more things to the orchard. I'm going to walk you through what we're going to plant. You guys are going to help me figure out what to plant where and talk through just expanding the fruit orchard in that way. So again, if you are new, I would love to hear from you. Please say hello in the comments. Let me know what city or state or country you're coming in from so that I can say hello back to you. On this channel, we talk about all things homesteading. We do a lot of gardening content, especially this time of the year, and fruit orchards are new to me. So I am learning and you're getting the chance to peek and see the inside of this journey, specifically when it comes to fruit trees. But on this channel, I share my whole journey of homesteading and gardening, and you guys get a chance to witness my wins, my losses, my failures, my successes, and you guys teach me as well. So for that, I am grateful. So kind of just to give you a backstory, we've been on this property now for 6 years, and they always say that as soon as you get to a property, the first thing you should do is fruit trees. We did not do that, and I sure wish we had, but we didn't, so we're a little late to the game. But last year, we decided to build a fruit orchard, which is what you see behind me, and then this spring in March, we actually had it fenced in. So last September, we put in 13 fruit trees in our orchard. There's 10 right here behind me, and then we have 3 in another spot that's kind of like over there that is not fenced in. But today we're going to be adding stuff to the fenced in part. So I have a fig tree, and then I also have 2 elderberries that I know for sure that we want to get in the ground. And so what we did was back in September and August, we planted some stuff, you know, in the fall in this area. I kept and continued to buy fruit trees, but by the time that we got them, the time that we had, it was a little bit too late to put them in the ground. But the idea is that we would put them in the ground in the spring or at the start of the summer, which is where we are now. And so slowly but surely, we've been trying to empty out the high tunnel, which is where they've been kept, and put them in the places where they're going to go. So I showed you a couple of weeks ago that we did plant a couple of blueberry bushes. We took them outside of the high tunnel where they have been all fall and winter, and we put them in some raised beds out in the outside garden. We also did 1 blackberry, and so today we're going to put our fig tree and our 2 elderberries in this outside space. So the number of fruit trees we already have in the ground is 13. Inside the fenced-in area, we have 10, and then we have 3 fruit trees that are peach that are outside the fenced-in area. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But inside the fenced-in area, we have 2 plum trees, 3 pear trees that you can see kind of going up this way. And then across from that, we have 4 apple trees, and then we have a crab apple tree that is there for pollination. So we're going to start with the elderberry trees. My husband is bringing in the first one from the high tunnel, and we decided to place it up closer up in the very back of the orchard because that's kind of where we have space. And so he and I are going to try to figure out, okay, where's the best place to put it. Okay, y'all, he's bringing in the 2 elderberry. We're going to put them along the back side of the fence. So we're going to probably space them about 10 feet apart from each other, so they'll be close to each other. And then the fig tree, we got to figure out where we're going to put that. I'm thinking it's going to be in the back corner as well. But let's go ahead and get the elderberry planted first. Okay, so I have 2 different kinds of elderberry bushes that I'm going to be planting today. So one is the variety called March, and the other variety is called York. So I looked up the growth rate. March seems to grow 6 to 8 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. So it seems like it's going to be more of a bushy type versus the York. When I looked it up, it says it could get 6 to 10 feet tall and 6 to 10 feet wide. So we were thinking about putting them along the back in line with one of the apple trees along the back fence. But my husband decided to kind of bring them a little bit in and put them more in the middle so that as they grow, he can still kind of get behind and cut the grass. So that's what we're thinking. And so let's just get to it. So you can kind of see in relation to what I was talking about where he decided to put them. So it's pretty much in the middle of the orchard, still in the back, but instead of it being kind of in line with that fruit tree that you see in the upper left-hand corner, he wants to still be able to get behind there with the lawnmower. So And then also this is kind of like up a little bit of an incline and a slope. So he is, you know, just trying to dig this part out with a shovel. Now, as you guys know, if you've been following me, we've had a lot of rain. At the time of this video, I think this was like day 13 of rain, and there's supposed to be rain in the forecast later on. So we're trying to do as much as we can before the rain comes, and that's kind of been the name of the game for the last 2 weeks. It's kind of like just going out there when the sun comes out and then running back in when the rain starts has kind of been the story of our life. And because it's rained so much, my husband's like, this is the easiest it's going to ever be in terms of digging because the ground is a bit soft from all of the rain. So the first bush that we're planting is the March elderberry bush. I'm really excited to have elderberry. As you guys know, we sell elderberry syrup. Right now we outsource those elderberries from an organic place, but it'll be nice to have our own elderberries on the farm. And again, we have 2 elderberry bushes. I bought 3, but one was not viable. That was from Start Bros, and I'll tell you a little bit more later on in this video. I'll tell you about the fruit trees, where I bought them from, and I'll just tell you right now, I really recommend fast growing trees for all of your fruit tree purchases, because I've bought from 4 different places now, and by far fast growing trees has been the most consistent. So I did originally buy 3 elderberry bushes / trees, and only 2 have survived. Because I've never grown elderberry before, I don't know how much that produces. Of course, elderberries are pretty small, so again, I don't know, like I said, how much that's going to produce. I don't know if I need to buy more or not. And then I'm also looking forward to seeing elderflowers in person. I've been seeing some people on Instagram post their elderflowers and making things out of that. And the elderflowers, I heard, are so pretty and also so floral. So we're excited to be able to add this to our fruit orchard. Y'all, I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to rain. He's probably halfway through digging the first hole. Maybe we can get one in the ground. Maybe. That's the plan. If it would just hold up for 1 second or a pair of minutes. He's digging as fast as he can. We're trying to beat the rain to see if we can just at least get this one in. But he's about halfway there, but the rain catches us. On the next day when we came out to start this project again, this is what the hole looked like, filled up with water. Okay, y'all, it's the next day. We're back out here to try it again. So we got rained in last night as we were getting close. We probably had made the hole, I would say we were more than halfway there. And the rain, it started sprinkling. We kept going. And then it decided, like, no, you better go on inside. We're not sprinkling no more. So that's what happened. So we're out here the next day, and this is what we found. You can see here in the picture that I'm showing up at the top, it's full of water. So you can see how much water actually rained just in it's been less than 24 hours, y'all. Less than 24 hours. So it rained last night, and then now we're out here today, again, towards the end of the afternoon, because all morning long it has been pouring. Tomorrow, according to the forecast, it's supposed to be the last day of rain. We shall see. So what my husband's doing now is trying to just get the water out of the hole so that he can continue digging. And if nothing else, we want to at least try to get this plant in the ground, because we're already more than halfway there. And we'll see if we can get the second one in ground. We may or may not, but we'll see. So on this day when we came back out, the first thing we did was just to put the plant in the hole that he had already dug to see kind of how far off we are, what we needed to do. I went around the back to look at it from the side because it is a slope. You can see all that water in there. And so we felt like the hole was a little bit too big. So my husband starts to add in more dirt. We want to make sure that the plant is at soil level. And so we noticed it was a little bit higher on the back than it was on the front. So he just adds and backfills the dirt that we had taken out of the hole so that we can actually place it in there. And so we tried again to see if it's going to fit. And he places it in there, and we're a little closer, but he still needs to backfill with some more dirt. Now, we're going to put this, like I said, at soil level. That's me kind of coming around the back to see if it's level in the back, and definitely he needs to add some more dirt. But once we get it in there at soil level, we will add a layer of compost and then some brown mulch. Now, on this particular day, I realized that we were out of brown mulch. And so later on that day, we actually have to go to Home Depot to get the brown mulch. But we don't let that stop us while it is dry. We just keep going to fill this hole to try to get this plant in the ground. So now we're going to get started on the second one. This is about 15 feet from the other one. We got to backfill this one with compost and with mulch. But while we're here and it's not raining, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this second one planted. So they'll be kind of in line with each other, the two elderberries. And like I said, they're about 15 feet apart, which should be plenty of space. If they're going to grow 8 feet, one is going to grow 8 feet wide, the other one's only going to grow 4 feet wide. So we should be in good shape. Okay, y'all, so we got the two elderberries in there, and so now we have a fig tree. So I have one fig tree that I have been nursing since the fall, and so it's pretty small, so we're going to get that in the ground. I do have another fig tree that I've ordered that is coming from Fast Growing Trees, and let me just take a moment right now. If I have not mentioned Fast Growing Trees, let me mention Fast Growing Trees. Now, out of all my fruit trees, the majority of them came from Fast Growing Trees. The other ones came from Stark Bros. Then I bought some from a local person in my local area, and then a place called Online Orchards. Online Orchards do not do just don't even do business with them whatsoever. I don't care if they're selling it for 5 cents. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay. Fast Growing Trees by far, because I actually wrote a spreadsheet down of where I got all of my trees from, because I knew that I would not remember. Right, and what varieties I have. And so I have a spreadsheet. And so when I went back and looked at all the trees that I have, the Fast Growing Trees by far all look the best between Stark Bros and the local person. Fast Growing Trees by far. Now, I am an affiliate for Fast Growing Trees, so if you want to get you some fruit trees from them, you can get a 20% off discount. The code is FGTLFF20. It's always in the description box of every video. FGT for Fast Growing Trees, LFF for Living Foods Farm 20. You can get 20% off of your order. Now, I was already using Fast Growing Trees before I became an affiliate. So I always want to say that if I'm an affiliate for something, I don't just push it because I'm an affiliate. I only push things that I actually use and that I love. 100%. And so if you are in the market for fruit trees, I highly recommend Fast Growing Trees. They have excellent customer service, great delivery, and everything I've received from them has been top-notch quality. So when it comes to the fig trees, we decided instead of putting them in the orchard back here, I think we're going to put them out here where our other fruit trees are. So we have 3 peach trees out here in this open area behind the camera that I'll show you. That when we were mapping out the space here, in order to provide adequate spacing for all of the fruit trees, we did not have enough space to put the peach trees in there. And so all of the standard size trees, we have a mix of standard size trees as well as dwarf and semi-dwarf. So for all of the standard trees, we allotted 20 to 25 feet of space. Again, just trying to be good stewards of the space and making sure they had room to grow. If it was a dwarf or a semi-dwarf tree, we allotted 10 feet of space. Well, once we did all that and mapped that out, we didn't really have enough space to include the peach trees. So they're out here. They do have cages around them, but I think eventually we're going to have to do another fencing area. And so we're going to put the fig trees out here. I'm going to put the one out here that we have now. And then, of course, the other one will go out here when it comes towards the end of the month. And so I think the other space that we have in there, we'll probably put some blueberry bushes. But let me turn the camera around and show you this area where we're going to put the fig tree. So you can see behind my husband are where the peach trees are. There's 3. That you can see that's kind of like right in line, and I'll have to get the names of the peach trees that we have because I don't remember, but there's 3 different kinds of peach trees, or 2 different kinds, and I think we have 2 of the same one. But this is where the fig tree is going to be in relation to that. This fig tree that my husband is planting, we got from a friend, so I don't know the variety of it, and I don't know how big it's going to get, so which is why we opted to put it out here. The second fig tree Where do you think we would put the second one back? In what direction?
Probably right in here, or right in here. I mean,
we got space.
We got space, yeah.
Okay. The other fig tree that I ordered, I'm really excited about. It's called a Violet Bordeaux. And I looked up the spacing on that one, and it only gets to like 6 to 10 feet. This one is going to be easy to plant because she is tiny. We're hoping that her being in the ground will cause her to grow. This particular fig tree, literally, it has 3 leaves. And it's had these 3 leaves since I got it back in August. The 3 leaves grow, then they die, and then they come right back. All fall and winter long. She was in the sunroom in the winter, and then I've put her outside for the last month or so, and this is the most we've ever gotten. So I'm hoping that her being in the ground is going to cause her to be bigger. So this one is easy peasy, very small. So one of the things I've learned, or I'm learning, is that if you're going to do your fruit trees, it's much easier to plant them when they're small, when you first get them. Now again, the majority of what you see behind me was planted back in September, August and September, but we just ran out of time. And so of course they've been in pots, have gotten bigger and bigger. But that right there took my husband like 2 minutes, right, babe? Yep. Because it's small and it's in like a 1 gallon container. So definitely, if you have the opportunity to do that, definitely do that. Now I definitely like the fact that we got our fruit trees planted in the fall because they got kind of a head start. I'm glad that those 13 that are behind me, we're just now not doing them. I'm glad that we were able to get them in the ground in the fall. So definitely, if you have plans to build an orchard and maybe you feel like you can't quite get it this summer, then definitely be planning to be getting your trees in the ground like in the August, September, October time frame before, of course, your frost comes. Okay, so this is one of the peach trees we have. You can see we had a cage around it, of course, to protect from deer. My husband's gonna have to weed eat, and then we're gonna put like the brown mulch, circular things around it to kind of help with the weeds. So that way, my husband will only have to hopefully weed eat outside of the cage once we get this part under control. So this is a Red Haven peach. You can see it looks pretty good. It's pretty nice size. These two over here are much smaller, and I'll have to get the varieties. Is there a tag on that one, babe?
I don't see a tag on this one.
And then we have another one right there. So this one in the middle is an Alberta, and then that one back there is another Red Haven. So I have 2 Red Havens and 1 Alberta. You can see the grass going around. My husband's gonna go ahead and weed eat, and then we'll put the brown mats around it. So my husband got them all weed eated, so I came behind him to put the mulch rings around. So I get these from Amazon. They're linked in my Amazon shop if you're interested in them. And this is just a way to help as he's cutting the grass or weeding it. At least the weeds won't grow right around the tree. He'll just have to weed around it. And then also it helps as he's cutting the grass for it not to be nicked. You see I have the white tree rings, and then I just add these mats around all the trees. So I have a box of landscape staples. That's what I'm going to use to actually secure these mats to the ground. And then plus it just gives it a nice polished look. So again, if you're interested in something like this for your fruit trees, you can find these in my Amazon shop. I get done with this task, and then I just pause for a moment and take a look. My husband's out there weed eating around the garden, but I just take a look and take it all in. That literally, y'all, a few years ago, none of this was here, and I'm just overwhelmed and blessed. Now we're back and from the store, and so we got compost and we have brown mulch. So we're going back in to fill in compost and mulch around all of the trees that we just planted. So we're starting here with the fig tree, adding a layer of compost, and then we'll top it with mulch and make sure that it's straight. Then we go inside the orchard to do the 2 elderberry bushes that we planted, because again, we don't want to leave this exposed. So we do the exact same thing. We add compost and we top it off with a layer of mulch. So let me show you some other stuff that we did in pertaining to the fruit tree. So this here is our blueberry bush. And so my husband put some stakes in there. We removed the insect netting, and then we put some stakes in there so that it would stand straight up. Because what was happening without the stakes, the insect netting was kind of laying on the bush, and it was causing it to like bend, and it wasn't as secure on the bottom. So he's kind of secured it on the bottom, I guess, as much as he possibly can. There's still just a little bit of opening right there, so that way nothing can get in there like a bird or whatever. And then also we bought some pine straw. We added some pine straw, and then also I bought some sulfur to kind of help lower the acidity level. If you guys were with me when we did this, planted it a couple of weeks ago, we tested the acidity and it was like a 6.5 to 7, which is too high for blueberry plants. We had already put in peat moss, we had already added in pine bark, and so I bought some sulfur and I added in some more pine straw and more peat moss. So hopefully the acidity level will come down. This is the only blueberry bush that I actually have blueberries on. The blueberries are very, very small, as you can see, but hopefully, I don't know if they'll get bigger, but hopefully we'll get more blueberries. This is my first time growing blueberries. A lot of you guys have recommended watching somebody called Growing Out of the Box. And so I have been watching a couple of his videos to kind of get some tips on how to have some successful blueberries. So we did this one, and then let me show you the other ones we did. So this is the sulfur that I bought, some organic sulfur, and I added it to all of the the blueberry bushes. And so you can see here, we added in the pine straw there. This one does not have any blueberries on it or flowers at all. This is a pink lemonade. What I'm finding out is that different kinds of blueberries ripen, or they're able to be harvested at different times throughout the summer. I don't quite understand it all, but I know that there are some blueberry bushes that are like a high bush variety versus another type of variety. I don't know what kind this is, but I'm gonna look and see. Should I already have flowers and blueberries by now? I don't know. It's the first part of June, so we'll see what happens. The leaves are still green, so it's not dead, but there's nothing on it. Okay, and then we have our blackberry bush that we planted. This is a Wachita blackberry. Again, I added in some sulfur to this one, as well as some pine straw. It looks okay, but again, this has only been out here for like a week or so, so hopefully it'll grow and we'll see what happens. I might need to get something to stand that up a little bit. So overall, I'm feeling okay about the fruit trees. I feel good that we got some stuff in the ground. Inside the orchard, we gonna put the remainder of the blueberries is what we're thinking. We just didn't get to it on this video, but the fruit trees in the greenhouse are definitely lessening. So we've gotten 3 out here. We have 3 in there. I also just got notification last night that my other fig tree is actually going to be here tomorrow, so I will definitely keep you guys posted. We'll get that one in the ground. It's called a Violet Bordeaux. I'm really excited about that one. That's also from Fast Growing Trees, and so it'll go over there where the other fig trees are. But we were able to at least get some stuff accomplished, and more importantly, we got the things in the ground in the orchard and adding more to it. So one of the things, the fruit tree journey definitely feels a little bit intimidating, and what I keep relying on and what I keep telling myself is that this is exactly how it was when I first started to grow vegetables. It is no different. In my mind, my mind is trying to tell me it's different. Like, oh my goodness, you can't do this. Are you going to ever have any fruit? But it's the exact same scenario, meaning I didn't know anything about growing vegetables, and y'all, now I know a little bit about growing vegetables, and I have been growing them in abundance, at least for the last, I've been growing food for the last 5 years. I've been growing in abundance, I would say, for the last 3. And so I keep telling myself, if I learned how to grow vegetables and herbs and flowers, I can learn how to grow fruit. And so I say that to just be honest with you, that this journey sometimes doesn't feel, you don't always feel confident, you don't always feel solid. And this is now an area of my journey where it is brand new to me. The fruit trees are brand new. I don't know what I'm doing. I am trying to learn. I do feel intimidated. I do feel overwhelmed with just the lack of knowledge. And I'm questioning myself, like, are you going to ever have fruit? But I am reminded that I can learn, and I just want to encourage you that you can learn too. And so maybe fruit trees is not where your journey is feeling overwhelming. Maybe it's around the garden. Maybe it's around, hey, I don't know how much to water, or I don't have enough space, or will my tomatoes grow? Whatever, plug in the question. And I'm here to tell you that with diligence and with consistency, yes, you can grow whatever it is your heart desires. And so I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Do not get weary in well doing, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me today as we added some more fruit trees to the orchard, and as we kind of did some other things, all solely related to the fruit trees. I would invite your questions. I certainly would invite your comments or any advice you have. Remember, this is all a journey, but I'm so glad that we get a chance to do it together. I'll see you next time, friend.